And we are live with one of the best Inter fans accounts. You name it. Uncle Sharma is live with us today, and he is taking the reins from Alex Donald because he has a afternoon pod that he's preparing. It's called that North American garbage sports that a lot of people in Europe really don't care about, other than NFL. But we here do not give a crap about that. We're all well, not me personally, but we're here to talk about Inter, Napoli, and I got the right guy here, Uncle Sharma, and I think let's go right into it. And I'm gonna ask you right off the bat, big game. How does Inter approach this game this weekend? Because Napoli have yet to lose a game this year, and one of the most informed teams, I would say Milan's probably a step above them, if anything. But yeah, I think this is Napoli's first big test this year. And how do you see Inter approaching it?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for having me on and filling Alex Dono's. It's a big hole to fill, but I haven't got the same that baritone, beautiful voice that Alex has. But I'll try to, be a good substitute. Try to be the Tuku Correa of the situation, super sub. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to the match. It's an exciting match, big match. And yeah, as you said, Napoli undefeated at the moment in the league. They've done really, really well. So I'm quite nervous about the match going into it, but also confident because we played well pretty much every single big match. We just haven't got the result. So I just feel like this could be the right one. There's 50,000 coming at the San Siro. It's going to be nice, atmosphere. And yeah, I'm confident going into it, even though, which we'll talk about, the injuries, international break injuries, all that kind of stuff. But I'm feeling nervous but confident.
And I think that the biggest question is the big difference here is Simone Inzaghi replacing Antonio Conte. And do you feel that, given how the season's gone so far, how would you kind of rate his season? And do you think he can get the upper hand on Spalletti on Sunday?
Yeah, no, Inzaghi for me has done he's done quite well. I think he's gone above expectations in terms of what I expected. I really thought, we gave him a hard hand to when he came in. Lukaku leaving, Hakimi leaving as soon as he came in. So all the drama. Let's not forget all the drama going off the field in terms of the Suning situation as well. It's not easy to manage all that. Oriali left as well. Ericsson is also a big loss as well. So I think he's managed it quite well. Maybe at the beginning that we were leaking a few more goals than I was hoping, but he sorted that out already the last few matches. And yeah, as I said, the performances have been there, the chance creation has been there. So there's a lot of parallels to the start of last season with Conte, which was, we were always saying like, we're creating chances, we're not taking them. So yeah, Inzaghi can't go out on the pitch and take the chances for the guys. So he's done a good job until now, and we know these guys don't really get much training time anyway because of these international breaks. So I think he's done well, but this is another test. He's kind of failed the big match test until now, but he has to pass this one. He has to get one over the line. Atalanta we failed, Juventus we failed, Milan we failed, Lazio we failed, and yeah, so we have to obviously get this one in the bag.
Yeah, it's crazy how he with Lazio was always good in the big matches. That's the crazy part where he, other than he beat Milan last year, he managed to, I think he drawed Inter, he drawed Juventus, but he beat Atalanta. So in recent seasons, he's always been able to kind of have his team ready against the bigger clubs. And one player who I'm surprised who doesn't get enough starts is Joaquin Correa. Um, I think he's a good player. On his best days, he's probably the best player in or top five, given if he's playing at his best. But do you think that maybe he slots in on Sunday and we start to kind of see that form that we're waiting for Inter fans, or does he go with a curveball or something different? because the number 9 spot's really tricky because you got Sanchez who's out for almost 20 days, I believe, and who knows about Dzeko. So it seems as if Joaquin Correa might is in spotlight now.
Yeah. Tuku is definitely in the spotlight, but it's hard, you know. I'm the same as you. Probably expected him to have a bit more playing time but I think maybe we look too much at the price tag in the end because the 31 million is a big price tag. But at the end of the day, Lautaro and Dzeko are the starting two strikers, so he's behind them in the hierarchy. But if Dzeko is not 100% fit on Sunday, I wouldn't risk him. I don't like how reliant Inter are already on Dzeko. And when we signed him, I thought, well, instead of Correa, I thought we were going to go for like another proper striker. But then obviously Inzaghi wanted to Correa really badly. And Dzeko, 35 years old, he's another one that's gone above expectation. The top goal scorer, but also everything else that he does, in terms of bringing people into play. But I don't like how reliant we are on this guy. And he got injured in the derby because this guy, we've been squeezing everything out of his 35-year-old legs. Like, he doesn't have that in him. He's already on the declining phase physically, obviously. So if he's not 100% fit, I don't want to risk him because we can't forget now, it's a very busy month ahead. We've got Shakhtar on Wednesday in the Champions League after. So that's another must-win match because Inter have to win that to progress to the next stage. And then, the games are coming thick and fast. So the rotation has to come in play at some point. So I'd rather go for that, Cola partnership that we haven't really seen until now. The Lautaro Correa, we hyped it. I definitely hyped it, but when Correa came in, I thought, that Argentinian connection, maybe the duo, they seem to link up all right when they're playing for Argentina, but we haven't really got to see it. Shout out Lord Figo as well, my guy. So if Dzeko's not 100% fit, start Correa because he deserves some minutes. After that 2-goal performance against Udinese, he only got the few substitute minutes, didn't he, against Milan? So, and for Argentina, he only played like a few substitute appearances as well over the last week or so. So he's going to be fresh and ready to go.
I know that people say don't look at the price tag, but when you're paying over 30 million and you have requested for a player, it's, as an Inter fan, I'm sorry, that's got to be frustrating because like a guy like Iglitare gets really criticized, ridiculed for a lot of his signings, but at the end of the day, they're players that Inzaghi wanted. Mohamed Fades is an example where he wanted him, and guess what though? By the end of the season, he's only playing 500 minutes, and it's like, how does Beppe Marotta now trust Inzaghi the next time he requests a player? He's going to say to him, "Hey, buddy, you wanted Correa. He's already on the bench. If we wanted to sell this guy tomorrow, we're lucky if we can get half the price back." So,
yeah. We also remember that he has injuries as well. Like, he had a couple of injuries. He went out to Argentina duty a few months back and he got injured. And it was the same thing with Sanchez. Like, Sanchez showed really good things when he was playing the substitute minutes, and then he started against was it Empoli, and he played really well. But then he doesn't. As I said, the starting duo is Dzeko Lautaro, so it's hard for them both. And now Sanchez is injured again. It's just the loop of his career. So I just hope Tuku can stay fit at least until for the next few months.
You're right, but I think it's more frustrating when he was healthy and he should have been playing more in order to help Dzeko kind of balance his minutes. This is the Inzaghi problem, where he leans on the same players until they're dust, and then it's like, okay, all of a sudden, what do we do, man? Like, I'm shocked because we had two quality strikers at Lazio, or in Caicedo and Correa, and he kind of rotated them both pretty evenly, and I'm shocked to see that he hasn't done that with Inter, where the excuse of we don't have depth anymore is no longer valid for him. That can't be an excuse for him anymore. And he has
but coming into the season, you know how it was with Lautaro. He's, after Lukaku leaving, they rejected the big money offer for Lautaro from the Premier League, and then they're giving him this new big bumper contract as well. He's the main guy now, even though he's clearly out of form. So I think that's his striking duo at the moment. But I feel like Lautaro should be dropped now because of his form.
You think he's that bad lately, eh?
I don't think he's that bad, but as you said, we've got depth now. We've got options
Yeah,
there. So the Correa is ready. He's raring to go. So I think if he's put him in, Lautaro, and that's I always say that even when Lukaku was there, I always used to say when there's bad periods of form, no player should have their place guaranteed in the team. You should always feel like there's someone behind them. Obviously with Lukaku there was no one there apart from Pinamonti, but here now we got options. So if Lautaro's not performing, Dzeko's not performing, anyone out, and then that's a little signal that you need to improve.
now who do you guys play midweek in Champions League? If you know
Shakhtar.
Shakhtar, okay, that's a team that you guys can't beat for some reason. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's pretty shocking. But do you think that the Champions League will have an effect on Sunday's game, and maybe they're thinking two steps ahead and not really thinking about the current moment because at the end of the day, Inter are in a good position in the Champions League, and I'm tired of people having to say that Inter hasn't made it past the round of the group stage in the last 3 seasons. Well, at the end of the day, Champions League is not a bunch of Europa League teams where we're playing scrubs. Okay, guys,
it
let's
is
get this
true
straight.
though. It is getting a bit embarrassing.
It's embarrassing, but at the end of the day, they're always in a good group in respect to them. Like
Yeah, yeah,
it's not like they're playing a bad group. Like
yeah. As
Lazio,
Milan found out this
yeah.
season.
Well, Lazio got lucky last year because we got drawn into a very balanced group to them. So that's why we were able to get out of the group stage. When you have Club Bruges and you got Borussia Dortmund, which they've proven they're not an elite team. They're a good team, but not elite. And then you had I forgot who else you had in the group. Another
There's a
oh
Genk. Oh
Zenit,
no, no,
Zenit,
no.
yeah Zenit.
Zenit. Yeah.
And then you go look at Inter's group, and it's like you got Madrid and you got Shakhtar, okay, in respect, Shakhtar was good the last 2 seasons. A significant drop off this year, but it happens. But do you? I think that Inzaghi may be approaching this game already because of the injuries. Like, how do you think? Like, what do you think?
Yeah, I think this match, I think because it's such a big match, I don't think he's going to think about the Champions League yet, and I hope the players are not thinking ahead to the Champions League match because this is a big match. Like if we win this, it changes everything. It gives us a big boost. But I think going forward, as I said, because the next match afterwards in the league, I think it's Venezia, so you can maybe start to rotate some players in the coming matches. But in this one, I think you have to go full out. And then in the Champions League match, I think you can rotate one or two players here and there, but it's you have to win that one as well.
And then you got Gerald who says, "Call up Satriano." I'll shoot this right now. It's not happening because because we got a guy named Raul Maro, 18 years old, who never got a chance last year into the last game. And me and Sharma always talk about this. And I know people say to me he doesn't suit a 3-5-2. But when you're playing Marco Parolo and Sena Lulic the last 6 games of the season, and they're 3,700 years old, and you're not giving a kid a chance when you got nothing to play for. You've already confirmed that you're sixth place. You're not going up. You're not going down. To me, Satriano is not going to get a chance. And if he does, it'll probably be like a rare 10 minutes off the bench, if anything. That's the one glaring issue with Inzaghi is that he doesn't give young players a chance. And maybe Satriano should be giving a chance with the injuries that they're given. Like maybe he comes in, he plays 10 minutes, 15 minutes, like how Mauricio Sarri has done with Romaro this season. He said it already. You don't put a player in and and just throw him like you're putting him in the deep end if you're to start at 18-year-old right from the start. But if you can work him in, they slowly, gradually get built into the Serie A. They understand the fundamentals. They start to feel more comfortable, and then you can say, "Hey, you go from 15 minutes to 25 minutes and incrementals."
Yeah.
So for you, do you think Satriano could probably see Sunday as a possibility, or maybe Venezia as a choice?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just like, it's not even Zaghi. I would say a lot of Italian coaches are similar in that sense. But yeah, so because Sanchez is out, so now we have to. I think Satriano will be called up. He has to be called up because he have to make up the four strikers. So yeah, we saw he got a few minutes here and there. I believe it was against Genoa. I think he got some minutes, but I always said the guy should have gone out on loan. It's a shame he should have just been loaned out. And because he's not he's young, but he's not the youngest for the Primavera. I think he's 21 already, so he's not
Oh wow.
as young. So he should already be playing proper football. So I feel like the development is going to be a bit stagnated this season.
So yeah, Inzaghi was the youth coach. That's how he basically became a better coach. To be honest, is because he went through the ranks and in the early season, I think the first two seasons, he really gave players a chance. Guys like Murja were playing consistently, and then all of a sudden, like he kind of drifted off and became more dependent on certain players. I don't know if it was just the fact that he kind of drifted his approach, but yeah, and it's funny because it was something that he was known for to kind of get the best out of young players in his early time, like when he first started. So it's kind of frustrating to see when managers don't give young players a chance. Um, but it is what it is. But um, what else? Oh, Spalletti makes his grande return to the San Siro. I hope this guy doesn't get booed. Personally, I would be shocked if he even did get booed.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of reception do you think he'll get? And think he'll like just like make Napoli lose on purpose just as it's Inter?
I mean, that would be nice, but I don't think he's like I think he's a Fiorentina fan actually. For Spalletti, I think he's brought up in the
Oh,
Florence area, so I think he's a big Fiorentina fan. Um, but yeah, I hope he gets a good reception, as you said. Like, I think he deserves a good reception. The work that he did at Inter 2 seasons, he put the base for Conte's team after coming in. He brought us back to the Champions League, handled the Icardi drama, handled all that stuff that was going off the field. His boy Raja is there was lots of if Amazon made a documentary of those 2 years of Spalletti at Inter, it would be a blockbuster. It would be one of the best pieces of TV ever made. But yeah, I love the guy. If you follow me on Twitter, you know how much I love Spalletti. Always pushing my Spalletti propaganda, and I'm happy for him to be doing well at Napoli at the moment. And yeah, I hope the Inter fans give him a good reception, man. He deserves it.
and we see that Napoli. We mentioned earlier that Napoli's unbeaten. Like it seems as if no one's able to beat them right now. Do you think this is just a moment of brilliance and they'll come back to life, or do you think that Napoli is really a team for real that is competing for a Scudetto and Inter needs to keep their guard up on Sunday?
Oh yeah, Inter definitely need to keep the guard up. They're definitely a strong contender at the moment. We're a quarter we passed the quarter point of the season, so it's not even just the beginning of we're getting into the meaty part of the season. But yeah, we've seen that with Spalletti in the past, like with Inter. There was in his first season we had a very similar start where we were first for a while and we conceded I think we only conceded 6 goals until this point. Like they've conceded only 4 goals until now, which is crazy. And then there seems to be because he's not the most flexible coach in terms of he's always pretty much going to be the 4-2-3-1. So at some points, when they do get found out, which will happen at some point, or some people figure them out, it seems he's not usually the most flexible. So it would be interesting to see if he has his team has as a bad of a downfall as his Inter teams used to have, because we used to have this kind of we used to call it the winter disease that we used to have at Inter. Like by December, January used to be just so bad. Like the team used to just fall off the face of the cliff. So yeah, let's see if he can keep his team more consistent. But that Napoli team is always been complete, and I always thought he's ready made for his 4-2-3-1, and it's proven that he is perfect for that team. And the mentality, as Koulibaly talked, I saw his interview today that he talked about how he's changed the mentality of the team, and that's what he did at Inter as well. But yeah, they're the real deal, but they haven't played any big team yet, as you mentioned earlier. So this is the first real test of Napoli. So we don't really know what Napoli are like. We know what Milan are like in the big matches. That's why, as you said, would probably put Milan just ahead of Napoli at the moment because they passed all the big match tests until now. So we'll see what this Napoli team is made of.
That's right. I like to rephrase what I like to just repeat what Sharma said. The biggest test so far, because Juventus doesn't count because they were missing half their squad. Let's be realistic, guys.
Yeah,
I
it was a weird Juventus
yeah,
at that moment. It was still in a bad phase.
yeah. Let's be realistic. And no disrespect to Napoli, they got the win, so
No.
credit to them. They did what they had to win the game, but I think Inter will have their players or they'll have their squad ready. This won't be the same setback like Lazio were pretty fortunate when they played Inter as well because they were missing players on the second international break. So I think at this time around, this is a true test for Napoli. And in the next couple of weeks, they got some big games. They got Lazio the week after. They still got Milan, I think, late in December. They still need to play Atalanta. So in the next, what, I would say 2 months, let's just say theoretically, Napoli is going to be really tested. And then we'll know if this team is really for real because they haven't played anybody big. And but they're doing what they have to. They have to win
Yeah,
the
yeah.
points to stay up
And
the
let's
top.
see what they do in the Europa League as well. Because if they well, it looks like they're going to go through, so that's probably going to affect them going forward as well. And I think it would have been good for them to just focus on Serie A. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I would. I think it's the opposite for me in Lazio. I think Lazio needs to progress in the Europa League and go as far as they can because I personally think they have a chance in the Europa League and they can do damage as the season progresses. They're adapt under sorry. Whereas Napoli, I think there is no progression. They're already there because
hmm
his formation is it has the players around him already. He has everything in place. So I don't know why they're not tanking Europa League and just going straight for the Scudetto in the situation they're in. If they do advance to the Europa League group stage, the next round, big mistake, like big mistake. But I have other news to ask now, and it's Stefan De Vrij, and I call him De Vrij. And do you? I would be shocked, but do you think he leaves into this summer? Because the conversation or the rumors always now is that he's leaving this summer, and I'll believe it when I see it. And we said on the phone today, Newcastle is a rumor. I'd be shocked if he went to Newcastle. That's a massive downgrade. Like Newcastle's still in a rebuild mode. Don't get me wrong. I know they have oil money, but you still got to put the pieces in place. And I think that. Do you think basically does De Vrij leave, or does he stay another season with Inter?
it's a difficult one, but his contract situation is not urgent because it doesn't expire at the end of this season, but it expires at the end of next season. And he's what 29, 30 years old now, so he's the oldest one in the starting back three. And we got him on a free transfer from you guys. Thank you very much. And so his cost on the books is nothing. So everything we would, if we sell him, it would be pure profit on De Vrij. And his agent is Mino Raiola now, which also means does that mean he's gonna ask for a lot of money, or is it gonna be a big commission? You know what Mino's like. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he's the and I've always said I think he's the one I would sacrifice as well out of the back three. I don't want to see Skriniar leaving for sure. I don't want to see Bastoni leaving for sure. I don't want to see De Vrij leaving, but if it has to be one of them, and in our financial situation, I think it does make sense if a decent offer from Premier League comes in, probably to sell De Vrij. And I think in that position as well, the center one of the three is the most protected out of the three, so to say. And I think it's one of the positions where we could probably potentially find good replacements for decent amount of money.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I would. Well, for Lazio to give him on a free, I don't get mad at that. I love how Lazio fans say that Inter stole Lazio players. At the end of the day, your owner and your sporting director should sell him before he goes on a free, or else don't cry about it and don't make it an issue that they steal our players. I can understand if you think that maybe a Korea type of thing was a stolen. I still don't even think so.
No, we did not steal Korea. That's 31 million. we we overpaid, if anything.
That's what kills me is that I have to see that now. Luis Felipe might go to Inter. Well, guess what? It's part of the game. Why are we waiting till 2 more months to sign this guy? You know what I mean? Why are we waiting now when we had last year to sign him, the year before? Like that's so there's a good where Luis Alberto, Savage, Immobile are their contracts are locked up long term. They do a good job there, but then they neglect the rest of the team. So it's like there are another 10 more players you got to worry about. So, but I would for one I would sacrifice DeVry for multiple reasons. Inter needs money, and sometimes the wages he's gonna want at least 5.5 million DeVry. I don't know what he's making right now. I'll just go off the top of my head, probably 4.5 million he's making. I would
No,
say
less
I
than
would.
that.
Oh, he's making less than that,
Yeah.
but he'll probably want a pay increase. Let's just say it from there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So can Inter afford it when they're trying to negotiate Brozovic, and now Milan Skriniar is apparently going to get a new contract. I think that's the smart decision. He's younger, like you said. He's captain material. He could possibly be the next captain of Inter. He's the backbone of that back end. I think he's more important than DeVry. Um, what his physicality and his decision making, and he's versatile. He can play in a back three now. He can play in a back four. He can play in either or. I don't think DeVry plays in a back four personally or has before. He's always custom just to a back three. So imagine if he had to go from a back three to a back four in a situation. I think it would be hard for him maybe to adapt a little bit,
Yeah.
or
No,
it
he
would take
played at the
time.
beginning, Spalletti's first year,
Okay,
Spalletti's year, and then for Holland as well. Now for the Netherlands, he plays in the back
okay,
four with Van Dijk.
okay. But then you got Bastoni, who's the future,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
you don't want to lose this guy. And if you were to lose him, you can get a pretty penny. So it doesn't really matter. But at the end of the day, like you said, Mino Raiola, like you think he's gonna get what he wants with Beppe Marotta? This is not Milan, okay? This is Inter, and Inter are gonna put their guard up and say, hey, we want this, 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 and that. If you don't like it, there's the door. Marotta knows what he's doing. Like that's a bona fide sporting director, okay? And he's not going to get fleeced by Mino Raiola. And I think for Inter's sake, they want to avoid Milan's kind of way of losing players for nothing. Um, I guess Gigi Donnarumma and Frank and Hakan Çalhanoğlu, fine. You lost them on a free, but they helped you get to the Champions League. You can use that excuse once, but you can't use it twice with Frank
Hmm.
Kessié. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna lose Frank Kessié for nothing when you can get 35 million probably for him. Like this is absurd, man. Like and especially when you need money. Like Winter Scudetto champions is nothing. There's more to it now. You know what I mean? Like I can see this team dropping off out of nowhere, but it is what it is. And do you think is Brozovic gonna happen, or do you think does that fall apart out of nowhere?
I don't know. We saw today there was that screenshot from Fabrizio Biazin who DM'd Brozovic, and Brozovic replied that yes, I do. My wish is to stay at Inter, and I think with Brozovic, I'm quite confident. But in football now, we just never know, and you can never always believe what players are saying. Like but yeah, with Brozovic, his agent is his dad, so to me that's a sign that if you have your dad as your agent and you don't have one of the big boy agents, that to me means that you're not really looking to leave. And from what I understand, he's and you can see on his social media, but obviously you can't always make everything out from his social media, but he looks comfortable in Milan. He's his family in Milan. His that apartment that he has overlooking the San Siro with the swimming pool. He just seems like he's enjoying himself, and he's becoming a leader of this team. And we're not too far off from what I understand in terms of wages. He's looking for around 6-7 million net. Apparently, we've offered 5 plus bonuses, so the gap isn't astronomical. So it just depends on if he can meet us halfway. So I'm quietly confident on the Brozovic front.
No, I don't know. No one's gonna like my take, but you take out Brozovic in that midfield, and that midfield goes from an A plus to a B minus. I'm sorry,
Well, it
like
depends. Well, it depends who you replace him with. Obviously, if you take him out of this squad with who we have now, there's no one else
yeah,
can play the Brozovic role apart from Barella. But then who the hell is going to play the Barella role? So it depends who you replace Brozovic with. And I've always said that you could probably, find someone that's better in different ways. But the thing with Brozovic is he does so many things well. Like he's a bit of an all rounder, but maybe not a specialist. Like he covers ground like no other. Number one in the Serie A for kilometers covered. Then he also has improved his tackling and defensive ability, which is not his best part, but he's improved it a lot over the years. His reading of the game, his passing is top notch. He also contributes with goals and assists here and there with decent set pieces as well. So he's a bit of an all rounder. And then obviously in that position as well, if you go out and try to buy, you know, a good player, it's going to cost you a lot of money. So that's why it makes a lot of sense to just renew Brozovic at 29 years old.
I think that if you take out Brozovic, and it's true, you don't know who he's going to be replaced with, but I'm gonna just be open minded and think that whoever they get will not be as good as Brozovic because Brozovic is like a top. I would say he's the best CDM in Serie A, like the
Yeah.
best. Like there, anybody who argues that he's not has to get a reality check. He's more important than Barella. Okay, that's how crazy I think this is. Like it's crazy. If Barella's out of the lineup, I think they can survive. If you take out Brozovic, they can't survive because defensively, he's the fourth man back. He is a wall. Okay, he can make timely challenges, like you said. Offensively, he can contribute at any time, any will. Like let's be honest, and just centrally, he covers a lot of ground. You said so, and I love Barella, but I think that Barella is more of a one kind of way player where I don't watch all the time Inter, but when I do watch, I think he offensively I give him the edge over Brozovic, but that Brozovic can do that too. Like his defensive game, bro, I'm not sure if it's good as Brozovic's. You know what I mean? So
I think Barella could play. You could play that role. Like if you play Barella in that role for a year, like as once you decide that you're going to play him there, I think Barella would be fine in that position as well. And Brozovic used to be a mezzala. He used to play the Barella role, and then Spalletti, he's the one who changed. He's the one who found Brozovic this role. Before Brozovic was, this kind of box to box midfielder, attacking mid. Like he didn't really have a proper position. He used to be very inconsistent. So yeah, we have to give a shout out to Spalletti that he's pretty much saved his career.
Mr. Spalletti, man, saving people's lives. Lives matter. Saving lives matter. What else do I have for you? Hold on. Um, I think that's about it, man. Anything else? Oh, Chuck. Oh, let's go off topic here. Chucky Lozano. What did you think about
Can you
his
can you,
comments?
can you hear me still?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've just unplugged my headphones and I'm putting my charger in.
Uh oh. We hold on. Right. There we go. Okay, Spalletti. I mean Spalletti. Chucky Lozano. What did you think about his comments about how he would like to play for a bigger team, and then all of a sudden today he has to go and apologize for his comments? Um, you think that's gonna pump him
Yeah,
up now?
yeah, Napoli fans, I saw they were killing the guy quite rightly. Yeah, it's pretty. I don't know how correctly translated it was, to be honest. So I'm not sure if these words were taken out of context or anything, but I was pretty cheeky from him and quite, I'm sure if I was a Napoli fan, I would be fuming because you're basically saying that Napoli is a stepping stone club. And I've never really been a fan of Lozano. Like last year, he improved a lot. And I thought he was like proving me wrong because I didn't rate him even when Napoli signed him for and he was an expensive signing for Napoli, like 35, 40 million euros. Like that's a big signing for Napoli, and then didn't really work out until last season. And then yeah, this year he's been okay-ish. He's had injuries, but he's been okay. So I don't know. I don't think he's a big club type of player to me. I don't think he's that good. So he's a bit out of line for me, those type of comments.
Okay. And what are the injuries for Inter this weekend? Like the overall injuries, are they significant? And do you think they'll have an impact this weekend on the match? Like how do you? I'm not sure if we talked about this already, but like how do you see Inter lining up against Napoli?
Yeah, I think it's going to be De Vrij is definitely out. Speaking of De Vrij, we talked earlier, he's definitely out because of his injury with the Netherlands, and he probably is going to miss the Shakhtar match as well. So he's going to be a big miss. So it'll be interesting to see who replaces him because obviously, if well, it will be Osimhen playing up front for Napoli. You know, he's got pace, physicality. You know, he's in great form at the start of this season. So De Vrij is going to be a big miss. And, you know, is it going to be Ranocchia stepping in, which doesn't give me too much confidence if he's 1v1 against Osimhen in open space. But there's also talks of potentially putting Bastoni in the De Vrij role and putting Di Marco as the left centre back, which we've seen this season Inzaghi do, which doesn't also give me too much confidence. What I would like to see happen is Skriniar playing in the middle of the three, which I don't understand why even Conte never gave him the chance there, because I feel like Skriniar could be just as good as De Vrij in that role because he's got the ball playing ability. Maybe he doesn't have the reading of the game as much as De Vrij, but I think he could develop it. And I would rather see, you know, someone like D'Ambrosio coming in, right centre back, and keep Bastoni at the left centre back position. I feel like that would be more solid in my eyes. And then my second choice would be Ranocchia rather than Di Marco. This Di Marco in the back three just doesn't give me the confidence yet at the moment. He's just too small, and defensively, I'm not convinced on him in that position. Yeah, and then elsewhere, Sanchez is definitely out as well, as we discussed. He got injured for Chile. Dzeko is going to be that's a doubt. He was injured in the Milan derby, but he didn't play for Bosnia, so he's had 2 weeks now to get ready. It looks like he could be ready for it, but as I said earlier at the start, I don't want him to start if he's not fully fit. Lautaro had a little injury for Argentina, but apparently it's not serious, so he'll probably start. And everyone else, I think it's fine. Bastoni recovered from his injury as well, so he should be fine. So yeah, overall, it was quite bad at the beginning, a few days ago when we got all those injuries, but it seems like it's not too bad at the moment.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth. D'Ambrosio is a guy who I would trust more because he's been in that position. He's played in the back three, whereas DeMarco, I think he's good offensively. Can't take that away, but defensively, I think that's a big issue for him. And it's the same with Dumfries, where I think that he can attack. That's not the issue. It's more of like what Hakimi had to go through, where he had to understand when to get back, where to be, where to transition, like understanding like his role, right? Um, it takes time more for Dumfries. I would have thought that DeMarco would have kind of picked up more easier playing in Serie A. But I guess that's not hasn't been the case. But I agree with you. Uh,
Perisic has been in such good form though. You just can't drop him at the
yeah,
moment.
that well, it's a good option to have off the bench, right? And
Mm.
do you see Dumfries maybe playing this weekend, or do you stay away and kind of not use him in this key matchup because of what has happened in the past matches of in his key situations, right? Where there have been some mistakes, and it's not on him. I'll be the first to admit this is not this. He needs time. You can't expect a guy to adapt to the Serie A in 5 matches. Like he's coming from the Dutch league to an Italian league where it's much different. Like it takes a lot of time to basically say, hey, you know what, he's got it now. He needs a full season, I would say, to kind of understand how to play the Italian style of football. But yeah,
Yeah, no, I've in the big matches at the moment. Yeah, I'm not really confident in Dumfries yet. I think he does need some time, but he's up against Insigne and Mario Rui on that side, which are probably going to be the starters for Napoli on the left hand side. And I could see him, having some joy with Mario Rui, who's not the best defensively, and obviously physically, it's like a complete mismatch between Dumfries and Mario Rui, and Insigne as well. But Darmian just gives you that bit more confidence defensively. So I think yeah, you just have to go with Darmian at the moment, and he has been performing quite well, Darmian.
Can't underestimate Murray Rui though. I think this has been his one of his best seasons in a long time. Like he's
Oh yeah,
been he's been really rock form. Like he's a lot of Napoli fans still criticize him, but I don't know how you criticize a player when he's playing at his best. And I guess it's just the fan base. I don't know what it is. I guess the last thing I will ask: what's your prediction? What is your prediction for Sunday? Dun dun dun.
oh man, it's a difficult one. I did a preview on my channel, on my YouTube channel, actually, with Dom, who's a Napoli fan, at Napoli Talk. So if you're a Napoli fan, make sure you check him out. We had a long chat, and I think I predicted a 2-1 victory for Inter, because I said I'm going as a positive fan more than realistic. I think realistically, I think it's going to be a draw. But a draw doesn't help Inter. Once again, like Napoli will be happy with a draw, just like Milan were in the derby with a draw. But Inter need to start clawing back some points. Inter need to make a statement now if you want to defend the Scudetto patch on the shirt. And we need that one win in the big match finally. I think Inzaghi needs that. Like he really needs it. So I'm going with a positive 2-1 victory. I think Skriniar is going to score from a set piece and like a header. And I think Lautaro is going to break his long-standing. I think it's been 7 matches now. Lautaro's not scored for Inter, so yeah, I think I'm going to go with El Toro scoring one as well.
I like Inter in this game for one reason. They're at the San Siro. That's why I like them.
Yeah,
If it was at the Diego Maradona, blah blah blah, such whatever you want to call it, Armando,
rest in peace.
yes. But because Inter's home, they're a different team. They're such a different team. I think that Atalanta was kind of a setback. It's unfortunate that they tied that game, but it was a good game between both sides. I thought it was a deserved draw for both sides the way they both played. Very entertaining game, but I just feel like coming off the break, Simone Inzaghi's had, and I know that Spalletti's had 2 weeks to train too, but I think this really benefits Inzaghi a lot more being at home. Like I said, I can't see Inter dropping point. I think they've proven they can play with the bigger teams. Like we said, like Napoli, we don't know, and then they've struggled lately. Even though they're unbeaten, they struggled against Verona. I think I was listening on Serie A Sit Down. I think the only shot they got on target was the goal they scored, and that was it. They didn't get anything
Yeah,
on target against Hellas Verona. And in credit
they
to Hellas
won. They won
Verona,
great against Salernitana as well.
no, they weren't. They weren't. So Koulibaly does come back into this game, so that is a massive boost in their back end. But we'll see how that affects him because he's missed 2 games. He hasn't played for over a month. Maybe he comes a little rusty. Who knows? But
What's your score? What's your score prediction then?
I'll go 3-2 Inter, just because you said 2-1. I'll say 3-2, and you're gonna see some goals, man. There won't be a clean sheet. That is my guarantee. That Inter is like Lazio right now. You guys can't defend if your life depended on it. For some reason, you guys give up those one really unfortunate goals where it's preventable, and it's like, how did it happen? It's like a mental collapse. Without the Vry, it will be difficult, but at the end of the day, this is a back end that has enough options to say, hey, even though we're missing our best, we have someone else who can pop in. Like a guy like D'Ambrosio is great to have as an option to play on Sunday. Not many teams have that kind of quality, right? Um, I'm going to go with 3-2, and I think I'll end it with this last point here, what I saw before, and I'll answer our boy here's point. I want to see Limone try a 4-man defense. That's never going to happen. I'll end it there because we asked that for 5 seasons with Lazio, and he never shifted from a back three to a back four. Don't expect it to ever happen right now. The only time he did a back four was his first season when he took over for Stefano Pioli because it was a transition year, and he stuck with the back four because when he took over, it was too much of a shock, I think, to transition to a new formation. The following year, he went to a 3-5-2. So Inzaghi will never go to a back four.
Sorry, Indra.
Sorry, man. Just from experience, I don't see him ever going to a back four. But Sharma, thank you for coming on, man. It was great talking. Always great having you on. Where can they find you? Where can they find that beautiful match preview you've done in regards to Inter Napoli?
Yeah, man. You can find me if you type it Uncle Sharma on YouTube and at rshams on Twitter. And yeah, my preview for the Napoli match is actually not on my channel. It's on the Napoli Talk, as I mentioned earlier. So go check that out on the Napoli Talk on YouTube. And yeah, it was a great pleasure to be on with you, Jerry, my guy.
Always great having you on, man. And I'll say, I know you're not on the field on Sunday, but good luck anyways.
Forza Inter, eh?
Yeah, oh yeah. I don't say that because then everyone's gonna think that I'm an Inter fan right away. So
Oh, come on! It's been like 2 months since the Lazio match. Now we can go back to being an Inter fan.
no, I'm done, man. Freaking my boy Felipe Anderson, guy almost got killed. I'm Jerry Mancini. You can get me at jmancini8. I'm always putting out work out there. I'm not going to promote nothing today. But, and you know where to catch Alex Donald from the Culture Connection as well. Don't ever forget about him at Alex Donald and our pod at CalcioCom Pod. Guys, thank you for joining us. Always a pleasure talking. And have a great evening, afternoon, Forza Lazio, and enjoy the city out this weekend. Ciao. And as always, Roma Merda.